2.3 is the slope of a line and other features of linear equations. Our slope is a numerical measure of the steepness of a line. Good. The ratio of the rise to the run, left and right. Good. So the rise is always on our y-axis. The run is always on our x-axis. This would be a positive slope. Whereas this would be a negative slope. And we just represent it by counting. For example, if this is down 2 over, I want it to be 1, right? If this is -2, +1, that slope would be a -2 slope. Maybe this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 3 up 1 over 3 up 1 over 3 up 1. So that would be a 1/3 positive slope. Up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3. This would be down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. All right, the equation to find a slope is find 2 points, 0.1 and 0.2. 0.1 has the x value x1 and the y value y1. 0.2 has the x value x2 and the y value y2. And then subtract this point from this point in a fraction form. So it's always a rise or y over run or x. So we're just going to take the difference of y and divide it by the difference of x. So you're usually going to be working with a fraction, okay? So it asks us to find the slope m of the line containing the points 2, 8, and 6, -3. If this is my first point, and it doesn't matter which one you choose as your first point, that means x1 is 2, y1 is 8. Then that means this is 0.2, so x2 is 6, y2 is -3. Is that okay how I found it? You're welcome to say that all of this was x1 and y1. All of this is x2 and y2, as long as you're not mixing up between the 2 points, right? So slope is y2 minus y1. So I'm going to say -3 minus 8, even though it was a +8, that minus sign. And then x2 was 6 minus +2. So they were all positive except for the -3. -3 minus 8 is a -11. 6 minus 2 is a +4. Okay, so we're going to rise -11. We're going to run 4. We're going to go -11 on y. We're going to go +4 on x. Also, I know I've said it before, but -11 over +4 is the same number as a +11 over -4 as -11 fourths. Those are all the same. Don't worry about whether you need to go down on y, right on x, or up on y, left on x. Good. If I start here, down 11, or sorry, let's first make it clear that this is positive y, this is negative y, right? This is positive x, this is negative x. So, and I don't want to use -11 fourths, that's too hard. I'm going to use -1/2. Good. I'm going to start there. I'm going to go down 1. So a negative y, positive x, and I'll end up there. Or I can go positive y, negative x, end up there. Because despite the fact that I can't evenly space anything, that's the same line. Doesn't matter if you go that way or that way. Doesn't matter if you start this one, or this one. Okay. Doesn't matter if you take that as your negative portion or that as your negative portion. Good. All right. So example 2 asks us to draw a graph of the line that contains the point 2, 1 and has the slope of 3/2 for this one and -5/2 for this one. So -5/2 I know should look like this. +3/2 I know should go in this general direction because that's a positive slope. This is a negative slope. Good. So I just keep that in my mind. Here, my slope is going to be 3/2, and 3/2 is the same as -3 over -2. So I can find a point and I can go down 3 to the left 2 just as easily as I can go up 3 to the right 2. Same line. Oh, thank you. Yeah, if you are having problems with your connection, just disconnect and watch the video after I post it, or you can watch the video under lecture videos. Okay, so this is a rising positive slope, and we need to start at the point 2, 1. So all right, point 2, 1 is 2 on my x, 1 on my y. And I'm gonna need to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 2. Or down 3, over 2. That is the graph of my line with a slope of 3 over 2. Somehow lost my ruler. Good. You see it's a positive slope. It generally is going up 3 over 2, if I was better at spacing things. -5 over 2. Okay, again, we're starting at the same point, 2, 1. Now I need to go down 5. And then to the right 2. Or again, I can go up 5 and over to 0, to the left 2. It's a negative slope. It has a negative number in front of the fraction. It's a positive slope. There is no negative sign. Okay, good. Another way to remember if it's positive or negative, I tend to think of it as something I'm approaching and walking on. This is going up, so it's positive. This is going down, so it's negative. You can also draw a face, slope face, slope man, Mr. Slope. All right, his first eyebrow, sorry, make it clear. His first eyebrow and his eye, because that eyebrow is a positive. And then we've got his second eyebrow. And his second eye is a minus sign because that is a downward slope. All right, we're also going to talk about something called undefined. So it's a U, straight up and down. And then his face is a 0 slope. That's what those are, 0, undefined, positive, negative. Or there's also, I bet your math teachers made you watch Slope Man, where he's skiing. Puff, puff, positive. No, nice, negative, nice, negative. And then if he falls off a cliff, he screams, undefined. And then when he's walking, plodding along on his skis, he's saying, this is 0 fun. This is 0 fun. All right, vertical lines. Vertical lines. Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys, if you're having problems, do not feel bad about it. You have to leave, you have to leave. It's not, I know you're trying. So a vertical line is the nose with the U under it, undefined, okay? Vertical lines are of the form x equals a, where a is the x-intercept. A is a constant. Okay, and then we're going to talk about horizontal lines. Vertical lines have x equals a constant. Horizontal lines have y equals a constant. The easiest way for me to remember this is that if the equation only has y, the graph only crosses y. Good. So for y equals a constant, it will cross only the y-axis. If we have x equals a constant, c is just a constant, it just means any number, it will cross only the x-axis. It's not intuitive because x is up and down, y is side to side, which is opposite of the actual axes themselves. So that's why I have to remember this. If it has y, it will cross y. If it has x, it will cross x. If it's just a regular, it will cross both. So y equals c is 0. It's only going to cross the y-axis. It's going to look like this, and that slope is 0. When it's to x, oh my goodness. What? Now I'm about to get kicked off. My computer wasn't charging that whole time. 1 second. Now it's fine. No, it's not. All right, 1 second, guys. All right, I apologize. All right, so if it's y equals c, the slope is 0. It's a horizontal line. If x equals c, it's going to be a vertical line. And our slope is actually undefined. And we can go back to the actual note pages to talk about it. But this is how I remember it. If y equals, it crosses the y-axis. X equals crosses the x-axis. Y equals x, it crosses both x and y. So vertical lines have x equals a constant, and x is, or sorry, that letter is where it crosses x, okay? They have an undefined slope. So they will always, if we're talking about m equals rise over run, they will always run, or sorry, they will always rise, but they will never run, right? X equals 2. They asked us to graph x equals 2. So it's right on the line, x equals 2. If I chose some random points, maybe this is 2, 2. Right where it crosses the x-axis is obviously 0, or sorry, 2, 0. And then down here is maybe 2, -3, right? For all of the entire line, x will always equal 2. So my rise is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that means if I were to choose these, let's do 2, 2 and 2, 0. y2, y2. That means I have 0 minus 2 over 2 minus 2. Good. -2 over 2 minus 2 is 0. If I try to divide a number by 0, sorry, it's an error. Good. So -2 over 0 is undefined. Our slope is always undefined for a straight vertical line. Here, horizontal lines have a slope of 0 because find an equation of a horizontal line containing the point 2, 3. So let's graph 2, 3. And it's a horizontal line. So it's going to go through 2, 3. It's also going to go through 0, 3, right? And every other point on y equals 3. All right. It's also going to cross through every other y equals 3 value, right? So the horizontal line containing the point 2, 3 and graph it. If it's a horizontal line, they are of the form y equals and then a number, a constant number. Good? They do not rise. They do not fall. They are flat, right? Y over x. My y is always 0 over x. Vertical. Sorry. Yeah, okay, sorry, that's 0 through me. Here we have y over 0 for a vertical line. For a horizontal line, we have 0 over x. So 0 divided by any number is just going to be 0. So our slope is always 0 for a horizontal line. So it's only ever going to cross the y-axis. It's never going to cross the x-axis. What would be the equation of the line 0, 3 and 2, 3? Y is, how much is y worth on this line? Y is a positive 3. So that's the graph of the point 2, 3. Because horizontal lines will only say y equals. It's the y value of 3, no matter where you choose to put the graph. Oh, thanks for telling me, guys. All right. Point slope form of a line. A non-vertical line with a slope m that contains the point x1, y1 is y minus y1. I would say of a vertical line. Equals m times x minus x1. Good? All right. So find the point slope form of an equation of the line with slope 3 containing the point 1, comma, negative 4. So let's see what information we have. We have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. It's okay to keep this y and this x, right? Because we are going to eventually have it in y equals mx plus b form. So we have y's, we have x, and we have m. It's just these two that need to be replaced. So we have the point 1, negative 4. That means x is equal to 1, y is equal to negative 4, and we know our slope is 3. So I can put the 3 here. I can put the negative 4 here, and I can put the 1 here, and I can solve that for y equals mx plus b, something that looks like that. Good. Keep that y. y1 we're replacing with a negative 4. M is our slope. It was a 3. Keeping that x. x1 is a positive 1. Any questions? All right. So that becomes y plus 4 equals 3 times x minus 1. I'm just going to distribute that 3. Y plus 4 equals 3x minus 3. Now I can move that 4 over. Y equals 3x. Negative 3 minus 4 becomes negative 7. Is that okay? Y equals 3x minus 7. Find the point slope form of the line. Actually, they just asked us to do this. Point slope form of the line. And then here is the slope intercept form of the line. Slope intercept of the form of the line is y equals mx plus b. Find the slope m and y-intercept b of the equation 2x plus 3y equals 6. So this is actually, what do they call it? General form. They call it standard form, but I don't like that. So general form is ax plus by equals c, but they want the slope intercept form. So we're going to change it to y equals and move everything else over. Okay. 2x plus 3y equals 6. I'm going to move over the 2x. So I'll subtract 2x from both sides. Now I have 3y over here equals negative 2x plus 6. Good. Take everything, divide it by 3. Now that's just y equals negative 2/3 x. I think is the easiest way to write this because you're going to take that negative 2/3 and use that as your slope. So the x is separate. I just put it out. If it's on top of your fraction, you can just put it behind your fraction. Plus 6 divided by 3 is 6/3, but it's also just 2. Good. All right. So find the slope and the y-intercept. Our slope is negative 2/3. Our y-intercept or our b is 2. They also ask for it often as a point. So it's actually the point 0, positive 2, because that's our x is 0 and our y is whatever b is, or 0b. Good. So I moved it into slope intercept form. And then now I can graph it because I know to start at my y-intercept, that's what that means, right? The y-intercept is always your b. So at y equals 2, x equals 0, I can start my graph. I'm going to go down to I'm going to go down to and then positive 3 on x, or I can go up to on y, negative 3 on x. Same line, right? It's a negative slope. That's a line of, it's a negative line. So that's good. And now they are asking us to find the equation of a line containing the points 3, 2, and negative 3, 4. We don't know how to go straight from 2 points to an entire equation, but we know how to take 2 points and find the slope and then use slope and one of the points to find the equation, right? So to find slope, we say y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to say y2 is my 4, y1 is my 2, x2 is my negative 3, x1 is my 3. Good? Yeah. 4 minus 2 is 2. Negative 3 minus 3 is not 0. It's negative 6. I can simplify that to negative 1/3, right? Now I have my slope. And I have 1 point. Just pick whichever one looks the easiest to work with. That one has no negative, so I'm going to say 3, 2. So x1 is 3, y1 is 2, and we're going to go back to that point slope form of a line. y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Where m is 1/3, sorry, negative 1/3. x1 we decided was 3. And y1 is 2. So I used the information of the 2 points to find the slope. Once I found the slope and one of the points, the easier of the 2 points, I just input it into the point slope form of a line. So now I have y minus 2 equals negative 1/3 times x minus 3. Y minus 2 equals, I'm going to distribute that, negative 1/3 x. The negative 1 is being divided by 3 and then multiplied by a negative 3, right? So if I take, we'll keep that minus 3/1 times 1/3, but it's a negative. That becomes 3/3, which is just 1, right? Negative 3 times negative 1 is a positive 3. 1 times 3 is 3, which is 1. Everybody okay with that? All of that became a positive 1. Negative 3 times a negative 1 becomes a 3. 1 times 3 becomes a 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Y minus 2 equals negative 1/3 x plus 1. Now I'm just going to solve for that y by adding 2 to both sides. Y equals negative 1/3 x plus 3. That means my y-intercept is 0, 3. And my slope, negative 1/3. So up here, we're asked to graph it. We're at 0, 3. We're going to go down 1/3. Or you can go up 1 and then negative 3 on the x. Make sure your slope is a downward slope. And you can also check that it has the points 3, 2 and the point negative 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Good. So you can check that those points are in it. So we said that the ax plus by equals c is called the general form of an equation. So if you have the equation x minus 3 equals 2 times the quantity y plus 3, how would you put that into general form? Good. So the first thing I would do is to distribute that 2. X minus 3 equals 2y plus 6, right? And then I want the x and the y on the left and just a constant on the right. So I'm going to subtract the 2y. It doesn't have any like terms, so it's way over here. X minus 2y minus 3 equals 6. That's supposed to be an equal sign. And that's supposed to be a y. Now we have x minus 2y minus 3 equals 6. So I'll just move that 3 over. X minus 2y equals 9. Good. So that's standard form or general form. Graph by finding its intercepts. You can use it this way, That way it looks complicated, but finding the x-intercept and finding the y-intercept of this equation. So to find the x-intercept, remember, like we did earlier today, y equals 0. So now we have x minus 2 times 0 equals 9. X minus 0 equals 9. X equals 9 when y is 0. Right? So that's the point 9, 0. For my y-intercept, x is equal to 0. So that is 0 minus 2 times y equals 9. Negative 2y equals 9. Divide by negative 2. Y equals negative 9/2 when x is 0. Remember, it's always x comma y, so that's 0 comma negative 9/2. Graph by finding the intercepts. The intercepts are going to be 9, 0. And then where would negative 9/2 be on the y? Well, negative 8/2 is negative 4, right? And then negative 10/2 is 5, so it's just 4.5. Good. And we know it's a linear equation, so you can just connect those two intercepts. And that's your graph. You can also put into Desmos this, and then put this in and make sure they overlap over each other. Okay, I strongly encourage you to use Desmos for everything. It will confirm. It will also just like show you interesting things. Saves you time. How much time do we have? We have 6 minutes. We need to talk about parallel lines, which are railroad tracks. Always remain the same distance apart, right? Parallel lines have the same slope, but different y-intercepts. If they had the same y-intercepts, they would just be the same equation, right? So if we have L1 is x plus 2y equals 6 and L2 is 2x plus 4y equals 0, and they ask us if the lines are parallel, you can change them to slope-intercept form and find M and make sure the M's are the same, okay? Don't worry, I will do this algebraically, but I just want to summarize what the end of the lesson is. Perpendicular lines are two lines that intersect at a right angle and whose slopes are opposite reciprocals. So perpendicular lines are opposite reciprocals. Opposite means you change the sign, opposite distance from 0. Reciprocal means you flip the top of the fraction with the bottom of the fraction. Flip the fraction. Okay, that's what a perpendicular line slope will look like compared, or sorry, one line's slope that is perpendicular to another line. That's how their slopes will differ. Ooh, and that's all. Okay. So parallel lines and perpendicular lines. You may also